Thanks for joining me again. We're live on London Radio, Star Radio, and we're talking about what to do when your company suddenly goes bankrupt. And this is in light of Thomascook now, who've declared bankruptcy. And I know there's a lot of people that are working in this industry that are a bit worried. So today we're looking at what to do when your company suddenly goes bankrupt.
Wow.
What to do?
What to do when your company suddenly goes bankrupt, like it's happened to the wonderful or big firm here in the UK. 174 years. Thomascook is collapsed. So if you are working in Thomascook or other organization that is gone under, what do you do? Mentally, strategically, what do you have to do?
Definitely.
Linda, what do you do?
What do you do? So we've all heard the news about Thomascook and what's happening right now. And as Cyprus is a big tourist destination, so of course with Thomascook serves this place, and there's a lot of panic and unrest, and especially if you're working in the field or anyone working within the tourism industry, because these things aren't isolated. You know, you can't say, okay, one company has gone under and it doesn't affect my company. So a lot of people decide to start to panic. You know, what's going to happen with my job, etc. And that's what not to do. Okay, these things happen when you start a business. You started with the intention of it being a going concern that it's going to go forever, but we know that life happens and bankruptcies happen. So definitely don't panic. To anybody in the tourism industry working for Thomascook, not the best time to panic. Don't panic. And there's a lot of worry about whether they're going to get paid, what their next job is going to be, how to pay the bills, the future, planning for that. And ideally, you would have planned for this already. In a perfect world, you would have. But we know that in an imperfect world, most people haven't. And you're waiting for your paycheck, and in the interim, what you're going to do and what your next step is. And your CV is probably not updated at all because you thought you'd have a job forever. So in this case, if you're in this case where you haven't planned, one, don't panic, don't get stressed out. Work out strategically how much you need to survive this period, and then just listen out for news on what they're going to do in terms of salaries and payments. And actually, if you can negotiate other payments other than monetary payments, so maybe goodwill from your manager introducing you to someone else to give you a job, and other forms of payment, whether they're going to give you a testimonial or help you with a career coach. A lot of companies sometimes would pay for a career coach so that you can reskill in another industry. So now's the time to think creatively about how to reskill and retrain and use these transferable skills that you've got into a different industry. Okay?
Yes.
The second thing is, sometimes this is a blessing in disguise. For most people, they've been doing the same job. They took it as a summer job, as most touristy jobs start with. Oh, it's a bit of fun. And then they're stuck in there for 10 years, 15 years. And I suppose stuck is the wrong word, because sometimes you love it and you're deliberately choosing to do it. But then a lot of people just go through a job and they're just in there because it's what they do every day, and there's no conscious reflection anymore. It's all automatic. So actually, this might be a time for you to be able to reflect. It might be a blessing in disguise to reflect. What do I really want to do? What do I love to do? And then how can I now enter this field with this opportunity that I've been given? Now that the company is no more and I don't have this excuse, now can I go and do what I really want to do? So that's a great time to reflect.
Listeners, Star Radio UK, MyCheerLinda, bringing you Career 101. And today we're looking at what to do when your company goes under or goes bankrupt. as it's just happened here in the UK, where we have about 9,000 people going to lose their jobs. And we know that we're not talking about that 9,000 per se, but there are more that other organizations that are linked up with the tourist industry, and virtually people are now shaking in their boots. But Linda is giving you what to do. But Linda, a question has just come in. The person is saying that you need to touch on the fact that how much money you need to try to. But this is a case where somebody is living from hand to mouth. So paycheck to paycheck, that's how the person is surviving. And now suddenly that has been severed. So it's not going to get anything coming through.
Yeah.
So what would they actually try? How to survive is their problem. What should they do?
Fantastic. So in this case, you're probably going to have to find an alternative employment, and very quickly. But the key here is not to take the first job offer. In this case, it might be better to have a part-time job that pays just about the bills whilst you're reflecting on what you really want to do long term. Okay, so if you're desperate and you need the money, take a part-time job, take something else that's just going to give you some money to be able to cover the bills, and then use the time to really think about your next step and a strategic step that you're going to do long term, rather than moving from one short-term opportunity to another short-term opportunity, because that's when you become a job hopper and you're just hopping from one place to another. Okay. Also, this is a great time to consider transferable skills. And transferable skills is by far one of my favorite topics, because honestly, I watch people do amazing things that you wouldn't in a million years believe they could. I think 2 weeks ago I spoke about someone who trained as a physicist going to be a handwriting specialist because it takes the same key skills. One of my clients I'm working right now, she's training from being a chemist for the last 20 years, a researcher, and as a business analyst. And it takes that same scientific method and proof and trial and testing and applying it into a different industry. You know, and convincing that employer that you've got these skills in this industry that you can bring into a new industry. So let's take Thomascook and let's take the tourism industry. If you've been working for them and you're good at sales or customer relations, because you're selling excursions, you're selling tickets, you're selling package holidays, what other industry could you use it in? The possibilities are endless. Every industry is sales. You can do recruitment, you can do business to business, business to customer, you can do in any industry, services and products alike, because in holidays you're doing both. You're selling the experience as well as selling the package. You know, so there's a lot of transferable skills that you'll be able to apply with ease from the tourism industry into another industry. So this is a great time to work with a career coach, discover your transferable skills, how you're going to put them from one industry into another, and also how to talk about it in a way that is convincing, in a way that is evidence-based to a different employer. Because naturally, when you're not in the industry or in a particular industry, so for example, if you were going from the tourism to fashion industry and you don't have the experience, you'll need to do a lot more convincing to the employer to be able to show that you've got the same skills that it takes. And actually, it's a bonus that you haven't been in industry, because you can come in with a fresh pair of eyes and a fresh idea and perspective, you know, and still selling luxury goods into another industry. So this is a golden opportunity for anyone going through this to use those transferable skills and figure out how you can do it. You can sell real estate, you can sell properties, anything that's sales-based. A matter of fact, I think you're not even just going to love it, but you're going to thrive in it because you've got the experience.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, listeners, it's Star Radio UK. If you are working at Thomascook or any other organization, a small company, it's gone under, suddenly, and you think your head is actually spinning, you have to listen to this program, because my MyCheerLinda is giving you what it takes to make sure you are able to survive this hard time and get yourself back on the road. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, Linda, please go.
And then finally, we want to leverage your network. You would have built a network over time with maybe guests that you serve, clients, partnerships with other service providers, maybe whether it's the transport providers or the hotels, the airline companies. You would have a huge network that you can leverage and tap into. Of course, respecting your non-disclosure and non-compete agreements, if you've got any. But there would be loads of people that you would meet in a social basis that you can then tap into their network, let everybody know what you're looking for and what your expectations are, so that they can also be almost your brand ambassadors and go out there and be looking for the jobs for you. And if they hear of any opportunities, then the opportunities are coming to you and you're not struggling to look for these opportunities. So definitely leverage your network. And then again, finally, it might be your time to explore your hobbies, entrepreneurship, consider something new, update your CV and your resume and your cover letter and your LinkedIn. Try something new. Adversity breeds opportunities, and you just need to be able to see it and take advantage of it. So if you're going through a bankruptcy or a layoff or your company is just shut down, we're talking about Thomascook, but everybody, this could happen to everybody, by the way. There's nothing like job security.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing like job security. So if this hasn't happened to you yet, this is a heads up to start updating your CV and preparing for this, getting an emergency fund, exploring what your options are and what you could be doing. Yeah. It's exciting times.
Wow. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It's interesting. Some of us have been through that. We've experienced that, and that brought us to some new horizons. I mean, we explored new avenues and we find ourselves in different places doing other stuff that we actually enjoyed more than what we were doing there. Though it was giving us money, but was quite stressful and stuff like that. So I think it's about time people take that opportunity. But the question that has come in, some people are saying that it's not everybody who is able to take in or take on like such news. I mean, suddenly, in a matter of some days, and then everything is just, virtually falling apart around you.
Yeah.
So do you think that you recommend that people should go for counseling or sort of stuff like that?
Absolutely. I think any sort of news that disrupts our normal pattern is shocking, and it might take some time to process. So you can give yourself that time to process as well, as long as you know that it's going to be fine and this is an opportunity. So it's, again, you can't do career without the mindset. It's the view of looking at it and saying, look, I'm going to be fine. I'm educated. I've studied up to this point. I've learned this job. Someone took a chance on me when they employed me in this company. And even though it's going bankrupt, I can use those same skills in another company, rather than the sky's fallen down on me and why is this happening to me? And that sort of victim mentality, looking at it as, look, I can do this and this is a chance to regroup, For most people, this is doom's news. I'm saying this is an exciting opportunity. And that's because it's a choice of mindset from where you're coming from. Okay, this might be the worst thing that's happened to you, and it happened at the wrong time when you were saving to buy a house and your mortgage, and it happened when you're just about to get married and now you don't know. And there's never a good time for a company to go bankrupt. Never. So just get it out of your mind.
The good time is after Christmas.
Right? After Christmas, when you're broke and you want your money and all of that stuff, and now you're going to have to look and nobody's hiring it. We could make excuses forever. The economy is bad and there's uncertainty, there's Brexit. Yeah. It's happened. Okay, that's the reality of it. So this is the exciting part. There is lots of opportunities. Yes, in the industry, I acknowledge that in the industry, there might be a large number of people who are chasing a limited number of jobs. So when these things happen, a lot of people tend to go for the same job with a competitor company. Okay, so then there's a lot of demand. Now, that lowers your bargaining power as an employee, because everybody wants a job and everybody is an ex-Thomascook employee or an ex person, you know, and it lowers your bargaining power as an employee to be able to negotiate, to be able to be paid your worth. And it might mean short-term unemployment for many, but I promise you, if you do this properly, this could be the gift, as you're saying, this could be the biggest opportunity that you're given to be able to get into a career that's going to serve you long term.
Wow. Listen, it's Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's now 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock exactly. We're bringing the program to close, but I still have Linda here, and there's one other question that has just come in. Someone is asking of the transferable skills, and it says, if someone is in the tourist industry, what are some of the transferable skills that they can use in other areas? What are some of the suggestions there?
Fantastic. So we've touched upon this, but this is a great question. So in the tourist industry, depending on what you're doing in the tourist industry, there's definitely communication there, because most of it involves selling. Okay, there's a lot of building relationships with clients, because they're going to buy from you if they trust you, if you're able to approach them. So there's the communication, there's building relationship, there's sales, for sure. Sales, you know, convincing someone that what you're selling is of better value, or they should buy from you rather than your colleague in the next hotel, or the competitors on the street, or why they shouldn't buy the tickets from the door, but they should buy in advance. There is this creating a picture in your imagination, of someone's imagination, of what their holiday will be like. Because when you're selling a holiday, if you've ever been to a package holiday, they're talking about the catamaran and the blue sea and the sun shining and a cold beer in your hand, and you can just see yourself there, and you're salivating already, and in your mind you're already there. They don't need to sell the holiday to you. They've created that picture. That means that you're sold on it. And you can do that again we were talking about property. If you were going and say selling property, even in the tourist area, let's say it's very similar, and you were talking about, you wake up in your villa and the sun's shining, and you move, and you've got this view of the downs, or there's green, or the sea. You know, you can use those transferable skills in there. So we've talked about sales, communication, leadership, team management, organization skills as well, planning, because you're planning the holiday, that you're providing the itinerary, organization skills. There's a lot of skills if we dive deep into it. All the competencies you can relate to the tourism industry. And it's exciting because tourism is classed as a luxury. So it's not a necessity where people are going to buy medicine, or they're going to buy food when the economy is down. To be able to sell someone a luxury product, you're going to have to do a lot more convincing. So again, that's the transferable skills that you can bring into any industry.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Now, a final question, because it keeps on coming through. Now,
like
this individual is asking about. Let me see what I understand what they're saying very well. Okay. Quite confusing there. Quite confusing. I think we have to shelve that for another time. I'm not getting what they are saying very, very well. Okay, Linda. Yes. Before we go, what else do you want to tell the listeners, please?
My final remarks is that when your company goes bankrupt, or when something suddenly happens within your career, it's an opportunity rather than a misfortune. Yes, you can give yourself time to process it, and time to grieve, and time to miss your colleagues, but definitely see it as an opportunity and do something. And you are capable of so much more than just what your job description says. So don't don't be under the assumption that you've always only worked in this industry and that's all that you know and that's all that you can do, because it will just slow down. You know that you're going to do something else anyway, because the company is no more. Okay, it's gone. It's not coming back. So you're definitely going to do something else. But the quicker you can get into that, this is an opportunity mindset, the quicker you can get into another opportunity that will better serve you, if not just as equally serve you.
Wow. Okay, now I think I've made sense of the question that the person was asking. Okay. Now he's asking that if you said that instead of that, if company cannot pay you, now you could get a goodwill, a testimony or something of the sort from them. And this person is asking if the name that has been created is now gone down the drain. I mean, virtually, if you get any recommendation from them, people think, oh, that company, forget about it. I mean, management wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. So, virtually, they just broke everybody into it. I think everybody who went there wasn't good. Now, what should they do about that?
Okay, that's a great question, actually. I'm assuming that at this level, the person won't be the CEO of Thomascook or the chairman. And even if you're in a management position, in a senior level strategic position, these learnings that you've experienced from driving the company to the ground is invaluable to another company. So they might be exploring something, you say, well, we did this and this didn't work. So actually you can become an advisor to them because you've experienced it. You know, you can leverage that. This is what we did wrong. And actually, this is why a lot of people stopped working with us, because we didn't agree, but it came from management that we had to do all of these things. And personally, it became a conflict of interest. So you've got all of this insight. You know, there's a lot of learning from failure that you can't get from success. So actually, having this unique position of being able to say that, wow, I've been through this, I've learned from this, it's amazing. Actually, there was a post I put recently, and this came from a friend of mine, and I think he put it beautifully. He said, reward success, celebrate failure, and punish inaction.
Okay.
Reward success, celebrate failure, and punish inaction. So the fact that you've been active in an employment in itself is a plus, and that you've got learnings and teachings that you can bring in this unique, hands-on experience, first-hand experience. From a failing company, you know that you're going to know some things that they don't know because they've never failed and therefore they've never tried. You know, so again, it's the angle of spinning it to say, look, actually, this is an asset to you and here's why. You know, and yes, Thomascook went down the drain and, oh, look, and now I did this, and actually, this is my success story. To be able to have lived, to have success, you would have gone through failure, so actually, this is a positive.
Wow. Listeners, interesting. Whatever it is, it's up to you how you're looking at it. Is it a glass half full or a glass half empty?
Absolutely.
But you still want the support. You still want to know what to do. You want some more details? Then Linda is going to put the details there for you to get in touch with her. I say it all the time, in abundance of water, it takes only the fool to be thirsty. Don't be a fool. Make sure you take advantage of what Sarah in the UK and HRN's Linda Palian is offering you. And make sure you better yourself. Linda, before we go, your details, please.
Yeah, so I'm Linda Palian, also known as MyCheerLinda. MyCheerLinda is one word, MyCheerLinda. And you can find me on LinkedIn as Linda Palian, MyCheerLinda, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can contact me via the website MyCheerLinda.com, and you can direct message me on Facebook. If you're affected by this industry, I want to hear from you, what you're doing, how you're feeling, what's the climate like at work today when you've gone into work and you know that you're no longer in. How are you dealing with it, and how are you going to apply these transferable skills? And if you want any help with your transferable skills, what you can do and how to get into different industry. I'm your CheerLinda, and I've got you.
Wow. Said he's your CheerLinda, she's your CheerLinda, and she's got you. Linda, let me say thank you very much for another brilliant time, and you have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Archie. Thanks for having me on the show. Pleasure as always.
All right, then. Bye-bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Monday show, and this is about Thomascook and all of these tourist companies, tour operating companies that are struggling, but also industry-wide and business-wide. You know, no business is secure. And I hope you've got some nuggets out of this, you know, how to prepare in the sudden eventuality of, no, that eventuality means it'll happen eventually. In the sudden occurrence of your company going bust, or you being out of a job, or you being laid off, these are the tools to use. We've recapped them. If you just joined us, go back and listen to the replay of transferable skills and other things that you can do to make sure that you're creating your own personal economy and your own personal effectiveness, and that you can transfer those skills in any other industry. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been MyCheerLinda as always. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.